Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining us today. I wanted to bring you guys outside and just kind of share what I'm thinking as far as planting stuff goes. I'm really excited. This is our first home where we've had space to like plant or do anything with. In our last place that we were in, we were able to plant some hibiscus plants out front and that was super nice. But the squirrels were just so bad. I tried gardening. They, no matter what, destroyed every single plant that I either planted, my sprouts, any food. The only success I had was with peppers, which makes sense since they're spicy, but have an actual like little mulched area that I am so excited to kind of play around with and kind of think about what the possibilities are for our family. We do live in base housing, so that presents its own issues. We don't know what the ground and soil quality is like, and honestly, I just don't feel really comfortable planting food out here in the front, even though this would make a beautiful garden area. But what I really love is that we're able to garden year-round here. My husband and I are from Alaska, and so the gardening season there is very, very different than it is somewhere like here where we're able to year-round garden. But I'm thinking for the front here, if we do decide to plant, we don't know how long we're going to be in our home, so we also don't want to like pimp out the front yard and then end up having to move and we won't be able to enjoy kind of the fruits of our labor. But what I'm kind of thinking, and I'll let you guys know as this kind of evolves and as we know more of what to expect, we would love to have some more hibiscus plants. We had two. We had a red one and a pink one at our old home, and they were so beautiful. And it was just such a source of happiness and joy for us to take care of those plants. And so I would love to have some more of those. We have some satsuma seeds that we'd love to plant. It'd be a really fun experiment to try planting citrus, since we have never experimented or done that before. There's this one plant, I have no idea what this is. I'll bring you in closer to show you. Okay, we have this plant. I have no idea what it is, but it does have some like flowers, and it's just very thorny and honestly very bare. So I think we might just end up taking this out, and that way we have like a clean slate to work with. We do have this aloe plant, and it is huge and gorgeous. We do want to plant this one in the ground. It's just getting so big for its pot. We've already transplanted this twice, and she's super happy. She's getting ready to bloom, which I'm so excited about. We've had an aloe bloom before, and it was so beautiful. But we do have this plant to consider when planting as well, which we're not worried about that because if we move, we're not going to be able to take plants with us anyway. But something I wanted to touch on with y'all today also is this idea of community sufficiency. So I wanted to touch on this idea of community sufficiency with you guys. And what kind of sparked this thought was the other day, a gal in my neighborhood offered up some flower bulbs for anyone that would like some of her share that she had. And so I went over there and I grabbed a cup of several bulbs. She said she wasn't quite sure what's in there. She gave me a couple options. It might be some tulips, or she gave me two other options. But I am just so excited, and I thought this was such a great opportunity to chat about community sufficiency and what that is. And something that my husband and I are so passionate about and working towards every day as much as we can, even with small steps, is this idea of self-sufficiency. Just kind of this idea of growing our own food, reducing our reliance on the grocery store, having an emergency kit, knowing how to do traditional skills so we, again, can reduce our reliance on outside forces when it comes to taking care of our family, knowing how to garden, raise animals, the whole 9 yards, all that jazz. Homesteading kind of at its peak. The problem with self-sufficiency is that it is centered around self, and the reality is that we cannot take care of ourselves by ourselves. We are never going to be able to, we just live in a world where we're never going to be able to be 100% reliant on ourselves. We're always going to rely on somebody or some outside source for something else. And so community sufficiency has just been a total like change in our perspective in creating relationships with people and finding community with like-minded people that we can bounce ideas back and forth on. Maybe somebody, I do not know how to sew, but if I am able to make friends that could teach me that skill or that know how to do that skill themselves. So we know people that are able to do things we can't do. We are so far off from being able to own our own animals, or even if we have our own property, we're not at a point yet where
Hey, Sylvie.
You want to sit with me? We're not at a point yet where we would be able to like raise a milk cow or have a bunch of meat chickens and all that kind of stuff. So having people in our community that we trust and have relationships with is going to be the key to being community and self-sufficient as much as we can be. I just want to encourage you, if you are feeling like there are just so many things that you have to do in order to reduce your reliance on other people, on the grocery store, there are things you can do, but you do not have to do it alone. And there is so much beauty to be found in community. That's what we're here for, is to find people, find our community, raise our kids with like-minded people and with people that we love and trust. And maybe that's family and maybe that's friends, depending on where you are. And so I just want to encourage y'all. You don't have to do it alone. We were not meant to do this life in this world alone. That was just kind of my thoughts. Take advantage of people that are offering to teach skills. If you know somebody and they know how to do something that you want to learn how to do, whether that's making sourdough or, like I said, sewing. I don't know how to sew. I would love to learn. Reach out and ask people, hey, can we trade time? Can I teach you how to do something that I know how to do in exchange for you teaching me, or to learn what you can do? And it can just be such a beautiful trade-off. Or same thing with foods and goods. If you are a rock star at making bone broth or kombucha or jams or jellies or whatever, and you want to trade that for some sourdough, or maybe you have a really rad farmer in your area with milk cows and you're able to trade for some raw cheese or some raw butter or anything like that, see where you can be mutually beneficial with people in your community. That's something I really love about homesteading, and just the idea of community-based kind of solutions, is that we are able to make so many connections and also be a person that somebody else can look up to, whether that is knowledge or as a connection and a friend or whatever. And that is just one of the beauties of just kind of homesteading in general, is that it forces you to put yourself out there and to be as valuable to your community as other people are to you. It's not like this, there's not room in the homesteading space for selfishness. Obviously, we're all out here trying to take care of our families, but really focusing on community makes everybody stronger at the roots. So I just want to leave you with that today, just a super short message, but these little flower bulbs that I'm so excited to plant. I've never planted flower bulbs before. Well, we got these tulip bulbs when I was in like first grade from our school as a Mother's Day project, but I don't really count that. So I'm excited to kind of experiment. I need to do some research, see what these require, especially here in Florida, since it's a lot hotter than what I'm used to growing stuff in. And that just reminded me of this kind of sense of community sufficiency type of deal. So I will keep you guys updated on what we do with the front. I didn't really quite finish going over what I was hoping that we would do, but I would love to have some hibiscus here at the front. And then honestly, we just really love flowers. There's a little beehive in one of the trees across the street. Somebody nailed a little beehive to the tree, so we'd love to have some flowers that the pollinators can come to. So we don't have like specific plans as far as that goes. So if you have any recommendations or things that have worked really well for you in your space, please leave a comment down below, because I would love to know what has worked for other people and get some inspiration and some ideas. The last thing I kind of wanted to mention too is that since we do have a ton of porch space and it goes all over to the house on this side of me as well, is doing some container gardening, because I was successful with peppers last year. I don't know how much stuff we'll be able to grow realistically, especially with the super hot season coming up. I might be more successful with a fall garden at this point, which is totally fine. But I would still love to learn and experiment with growing food, especially in a hotter climate. And so I definitely want to start an herb garden, do maybe a couple vegetables. And if all we get is hot peppers, then that is still a win. That is still more food. That is food that I can and put up on the shelf, and be another way that we've inched our way closer to our goal of being a little bit more sufficient in ourselves. Let me know in the comments, what is your favorite stuff to garden? I need to do some brainstorming, because we have plenty of space to do a container garden. It'll just depend on what I'm able to start planting here soon and that kind of stuff. So thank you guys so much for spending a couple minutes with me here today. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. I'm just so excited. There are so many things and so many prospects that we have for our new little home. We are so excited to be here and have a yard and a place where we can plant some flowers and really make it ours. We're so excited to bring our kiddos along on this journey with us, and that includes you guys as well. Thank you for being along on the journey. I will let you guys know what we decide as far as the front area goes. Like I said, we have some things up in the air right now, so we don't know how long we'll be in this house particularly. So it might just end up that we don't end up planting anything, but we will see. Hopefully we'll know in the next couple months what ends up being kind of our future with this place. But thank you guys so much for being here. I have a little guy to go feed, and I will chat with you guys next time. Bye.